Now in this video, you're going to discover the two biggest myths in selling today and why you should avoid them like the plague, because they're costing you tens and tens of thousands of dollars. Number one, the biggest sales myth out there: selling is a numbers game. Now, I will tell you that selling can indeed be a numbers game for you if all you know is traditional selling techniques that you might be using. Now, if you want, you can of course call your people, your leads over and over again, and you can go through hundreds of calls a day. You can also chase down your prospects until they finally listen to you, just so they can come up with an excuse to get rid of you. Where did the numbers game concept actually come from? It actually came from several decades ago after the invention of the telephone. The sales manager, in order to make his salespeople feel better about themselves from continually calling prospects and getting rejected, said, "Selling is a numbers game." He made it up just to make his salespeople feel better. If selling is a numbers game, then in your mind, it's normal to get rejected on 95% of your calls. In traditional selling school of thought, it's supposed to be how many calls you make and how many contacts you can reach will determine your success in selling, right? What if you didn't have to do all that work, all those calls, all that objections you get, and all that rejection just to make a few sales and barely get by? You see, in the post-trust era, with trust being at its lowest point than it's ever been in the marketplace, it's no longer the quantity of the calls you make, how many contacts you speak to. It's about the quality of those conversations and how deep you go in each of those conversations. How deep with your questions to bring out the person's emotions. It's about how good you are at creating trust. It's about how good you are at detaching yourself from the expectations of making the sale, so you become more open to your potential customer, what their problems are, if any, what's causing those problems, and how it's affecting them, to see if your solution can help them. Now, when you have these conversations in a calm, relaxed, normal conversational voice, rather than the typical enthusiastic, excited sales pitch voice, you will automatically attract your potential customers to you like a magnet. Why? Because for the first time in a long time, someone, which is you, is genuinely interested in them and what they're looking for, rather than trying to stuff your solution down their throat. They feel your intent, and they start to lean on you, and they look at you as a trusted authority to them. Let me ask you, how would you feel if you were no longer met with defiance and resistance from the start of each call you make to your prospects? What would that do for you personally? Sales myth number two: rejection is just part of sales. Now ask yourself this question: what is the greatest fear that you and other salespeople have that hold you back from making calls, talking with your prospects about your products or services that you sell? Well, of course, it's the fear of rejection, right? Have you ever considered that if you get anxious about meeting your prospects, or cold calling, or calling your leads, and it prevents you from talking with them, or you feel the need to get pumped up before you meet your prospective clients, or you drag your feet before making those calls, that it could be that it's the way you're communicating or think you have to communicate that's causing this problem? Do you like it when you get rejected by your prospects? Probably not. But how does it make you feel? My question is, why do you accept that rejection is just something you have to accept in selling when it doesn't have to be? You accept it probably because that's what you've been taught, that's what you've been told by the experts, and you've even experienced it yourself. But what if the reason why your prospects rejected you was because you were actually triggering that rejection by the way you were communicating to them? And what if you could learn what those triggers are that are causing you to get rejected, so you can eliminate them in your sales conversations? Now, in my experience, there are two types of rejections. The flat, in your face, I'm not interested, get lost, and the type where someone has looked at your solution and finds that it just really doesn't fit into what they're looking for. Now, the second one can be disappointing, but it doesn't necessarily feel personal. So let's take a look at the first one. Now, you've probably been told over and over again that rejection is just part of selling, and to learn to expect it, to deal with it, to get tough skin and get over it. And some of you might even learn how to do that. Well, I'm going to share with you that I believe that it's complete nonsense. I don't subscribe to that way of thinking and training, because you can eliminate rejection. I'm not talking about by mind games or mental tricks or popping in a motivational CD to pump you up, but by eliminating the cause of rejection. What if you could learn exactly what those triggers were and remove them from your sales process? Could that help you? Could it lead you to become a record-breaking sales performer if you eliminate rejection from your sales conversations? How would your sales life be different than it is now? How would you feel? Now, I'm going to teach you what some of those triggers are in the next video, and you can eliminate them from your sales conversations right now so that you never get rejected again. I want to thank you for watching this video about the two biggest myths in selling today and why you should avoid them like the plague, because they are costing you tens of thousands of dollars in lost commissions. Now, in the next video, you're going to discover how to eliminate the triggers or things you say and how you say them that actually cause you to get rejected by your prospects.